The millionaire mocked the homeless man and tossed him a stack of papers, laughing, "Translate this and I'll pay you $1,000,000. The man lowered his eyes, then began reading fluently, one language after another. People froze, jaws dropped. The room fell silent when they realized who he really was. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like and comment where in the world you're watching from, because now I'm going to tell you everything. The cold air bit at the faces of people walking fast down the sidewalk. "You won't believe the deal I just closed," Alex Rhodes said, his voice loud and smooth. He pushed open the heavy glass door of the tallest office building in Boston. His two friends, both in suits as fine as his own, followed him out. "It took 6 months. The papers are in, let me see, 9 different languages." He held up a thick stack of papers in his hand. He smiled a wide, white smile. He loved this feeling. He loved the looks from people passing by. They saw a rich man, a successful man. They did not see the boy from South Boston who once had holes in his shoes. "9 languages?" said his friend Mark. "What's in it for us? You buying dinner?" "The most expensive steak in the city," Alex said. He laughed. He felt good. He wanted the feeling to last. He wanted to make his friends laugh more. His sharp blue eyes looked around the sidewalk, searching for something, for anything. That is when he saw the boy. The boy sat alone against the gray stone wall of the building. He was small. He wore a brown coat that was too big for him. The sleeves covered his hands. His dark hair was messy. He was just sitting there, very still. A mean idea popped into Alex's head. It was a funny idea, a cruel idea. It would make his friends laugh. "Watch this," Alex said to Mark and the other friend David. "Nothing brightens the day like a little reality check for the less fortunate." He walked over to the boy. His expensive shoes clicked on the hard ground. The boy looked up. His eyes were a warm brown. He did not say anything. Alex stopped in front of him. He smiled his big smile again. He talked loud so his friends and everyone nearby could hear. "Hey kid," Alex said. He held up the stack of papers. "I have a job for you." The boy, Leo, just watched him. He pulled his knees closer to his chest. "Translate all of this for me," Alex said. He waved the papers. "Every single page. If you can do it, I will pay you." He paused for effect. "I will pay you $1,000,000. He let go of the papers. They did not fall into Leo's hands. They fell to the cold sidewalk next to Leo's worn-out sneakers. The wind tried to blow the pages away. People stopped walking. They watched. A woman with a shopping bag frowned. A man in a delivery uniform shook his head. They all felt uncomfortable. They knew this was not a real offer. This was a rich man making fun of a homeless boy. Alex turned and grinned at his friends. Mark gave a weak smile. David looked down at his own shoes. Leo looked from Alex's face down to the papers on the ground. His expression did not change. He was quiet for a long moment. The only sound was the wind and the faraway cars. Inside, Leo's mind was working. He saw the top page. The words were French. He understood them immediately. It was a shipping contract. To him, it was simple. It was easy. The hard thing was finding his sister. The hard thing was being alone. He thought about the $1,000,000. Money could make hard things easy. Money could find people. Slowly, Leo moved. He reached out a small hand from the long sleeve of his coat. He picked up the stack of papers. He held them gently. He smoothed the first page against his knee. He took a soft breath. Then he began to read the words out loud. But he did not read them in English. He read them in perfect, beautiful French. His voice was clear and quiet, but everyone on the silent sidewalk heard it. Alex's wide smile vanished. His face went blank. He stared. Leo finished the first page. He turned to the next one. He glanced at it for only a second. Then he began to read again. This time, the words were in clear, strong German. A gasp came from the woman with the shopping bag. The delivery man's mouth fell open. Alex Rhodes did not move. He felt a strange cold feeling in his stomach. He watched the small, dirty boy in the big coat read complex legal words in a language he himself did not understand. The boy did not even stumble. As Leo's voice filled the cold air, Alex's hand went to his wrist. He started to adjust his shiny silver cufflink. He twisted it around and around without knowing he was doing it. The sound of the German words hung in the cold air. For a moment, there was only the wind. Then Leo turned the page. He looked at the next sheet. He did not pause. The words that came out were smooth and fluent, but completely different. They flowed like water. It was Japanese. "He's reading Japanese now," a man in the crowd whispered, as if saying it too loud would break the spell. Leo's finger traced a line on his knee as he read. His voice was still soft, but it carried. He read a full paragraph, his pronunciation perfect. When he finished, he turned the page again. The next page was in Russian. The strong, rolling sounds filled the space. An older woman in the crowd put a hand over her heart. Her eyes were wide. Alex Rhodes stood frozen. He was still twisting his cufflink. The cold feeling in his stomach had turned into a hard knot. He watched this boy, this child in a ragged coat, own every word on those pages. He was not guessing. He was not pretending. He knew asterisk. Leo read the Russian page to the end. He took a small breath. He looked at the next paper. Then he read it in Spanish. The words were clear and musical. A young man with a phone was recording now. He held it up, his mouth open. Mark, Alex's friend, leaned close to Alex. His voice was a shocked murmur. "Alex, what is happening? Who is this kid?" Alex could not answer. He could not look away from Leo. The Spanish ended. Leo's eyes moved down the next page. He began to read in Arabic. The script was foreign to everyone watching, but the boy's voice was confident. He did not slow down. The crowd had grown. More people stopped. They packed in close, but they were utterly silent. No one talked. No one moved. They just listened. They watched a miracle on a dirty sidewalk. After Arabic, it was Portuguese. Then, without any hesitation at all, Leo turned to the final page. He looked at the complex characters. He read them in fluent Mandarin Chinese. His voice was calm the whole time. He was not showing off. He was just reading. It was a simple, unbelievable fact. This boy could speak 9 languages. The last Chinese word faded into the afternoon. Leo was done. He carefully stacked the papers together. He held them out, offering them back to the man who had thrown them. No one made a sound. The silence was heavy and full of awe. Then the older woman spoke, her voice cracking. "Child, where did you learn all that?" Leo looked at her. He shrugged his small shoulders inside the big coat. "My mom and dad," he said quietly. "They taught me, before." "Before what?" asked the woman. "Before the car," Leo said. He looked down at the ground. He did not say anything else. The words hit Alex like a physical blow. Asterisk, before the car. He understood. This boy's parents were gone. This genius, this incredible mind was sitting alone on the street because he had no one. Alex had thrown papers at him for a joke. The memory came suddenly. It was sharp and clear. He was 9 years old. He was in the school lunchroom. His sneakers had a hole in the toe. 2 bigger boys pointed at them and laughed. Their laughter was loud and mean. It burned his ears. He had promised himself right then that he would never be poor again. He would never be laughed at again. But now, he was the one laughing. He was the one pointing. He looked at his own shiny black shoes. He looked at Leo's worn-out sneakers. The hard knot in his stomach twisted into a deep, horrible shame. His face felt very hot. "Oh God," Alex whispered to himself. No one heard him. "I am my father's worst nightmare. I am every rich jerk who ever looked down on us." He saw his father's tired face in his mind. His father, who worked 2 jobs and was always honest. His father, who would be sick with disappointment at this scene. Alex's legs felt weak. The people were starting to murmur now, talking to each other in excited, hushed tones about the amazing boy. Alex did not hear them. He only saw Leo. The boy was just sitting there, holding out the papers, waiting. He looked small and very tired. With a stiff movement, Alex let go of his cufflink. He took 1 step forward, then another. He did not take the papers. Instead, he slowly lowered himself. He knelt down right there on the hard, cold sidewalk. The fine wool of his suit pants touched the dirty ground. He was now eye level with the homeless boy. The crowd gasped again, but this time for a different reason. Alex looked into Leo's warm brown eyes. His own face was bright red. His voice, when he finally spoke, was rough and full of emotion. It was not loud anymore. It was just for Leo. "I am so sorry," Alex said. The words felt huge. "I was cruel and wrong." The words sat between them on the cold ground. Alex's apology felt like a real thing, heavy in the air. He did not stand up. He stayed on his knees, the dirty sidewalk staining his expensive suit. Leo looked at the man's red face. He slowly lowered the stack of papers. He did not say anything. The crowd was murmuring now. Someone said, "Did he just apologize?" Another voice said, "The kid deserves $1 million. He earned it." Alex heard the voices, but they sounded far away. All he could see was the boy's thin face. It made the memory sharper. He was not in Boston anymore. He was 9 years old, standing in a hallway at the Thomas J. Kenny Elementary School. "Nice shoes, Rhodes," a boy named Timmy Grafton sneered. Timmy pointed at Alex's sneaker where the fabric had torn away from the sole. "I can see your toes. You getting ready for the beach?" The other kids laughed. The sound was hot and sharp. It made Alex's whole body burn with shame. He curled his toes inside the broken shoe, wishing he could disappear. He promised himself right then that he would never, ever feel this small again. "Mister?" Leo's quiet voice pulled him back. The boy was still watching him. The memory of the laughing kids mixed with the image of his own friends, Mark and David, waiting for their own laugh just minutes ago. He had become Timmy Grafton. The realization was a sickness in his throat. "I meant what I said," Alex said, his voice rough. He was not talking to the crowd anymore. He was only talking to Leo. "You did the work. You get the pay." He reached inside his suit jacket. His fingers found the small leather book he always carried. His checkbook. He pulled it out. He took a pen from his pocket. A man in the crowd called out, "You're not really gonna write it, are you?" Alex did not look up. He opened the checkbook. He rested it on his knee. He began to write. The pen moved smoothly. He wrote the date. He wrote the words, "Pay to the order of," and paused. He looked at Leo. "What's your name?" "Leo," the boy said softly. "Just Leo?" Leo nodded. Alex wrote it. Asterisk Leo, asterisk. Then, in the box with the $sign, he wrote the number 1, followed by the word million. He wrote it out in full letters. Asterisk 1,000,000 and 00/100 asterisk. He signed his name at the bottom with a sharp slash. Asterisk Alexander Rhodes asterisk. He tore the check from the book. The sound was crisp in the quiet. He held it out to Leo. The boy stared at the small piece of green paper. He did not reach for it. His eyes were unsure. "Take it," Alex said. "It's real. You can take it to any bank. It's yours." Slowly, Leo reached out. His small, cold fingers took the check. He looked at it. He looked at the amount written in words. His eyes grew very wide. He had never held so much money. He had never held any money at all, not for a long time. "Why?" Leo asked. The word was barely a whisper. Alex let out a long breath. It turned to fog in the cold air. "Because I was like you once," he said. He did not want to say it, but he knew he had to. "I know what it's like when people laugh at you because of what you have, or what you don't have. I swore I would never be the person doing the laughing." He looked down at his dirty knees. "But today, I was. This check, it's for the work. But me being down here, that's for the joke. I'm sorry for the joke." Leo looked from the check to the man's face. He saw the shame there. It looked real. He had seen a lot of faces on the street. Angry faces, sad faces, faces that looked right through him. This face was different. This man was hurting, and it was because of what he had done to Leo. Carefully, Leo folded the check. He put it deep inside the pocket of his big coat. He nodded once, a small movement. Alex finally moved to stand up. His knees ached from the hard ground. He brushed the dirt from his pants, but the stain was there. He did not care. He looked at his friends. Mark and David just stared back, their faces blank with shock. Then Alex looked at Leo again. The boy was just sitting there, a $1 million check in his pocket, looking more alone than anyone Alex had ever seen. The job was not done. Paying money was easy. It was what he always did. But it did not fix the lonely look in the boy's eyes. "Leo," Alex said, "where do you sleep at night?" Leo shrugged. He did not answer. "Do you have any family?" This time, Leo's eyes changed. A deep pain flashed in them. He looked down. "I had a sister," he murmured. "Mia." I lost her. The way he said lost made Alex's chest feel tight. He did not mean lost like a toy. He meant lost like gone forever. Alex adjusted his cufflink again, a nervous twist of his fingers. He made another decision, fast and clear. "Come with me," he said. Leo did not move. He looked at the man's hand, then up at his face. His eyes were careful and unsure. "Where?" Leo asked, his voice small. "Somewhere warm," Alex said. He put his hand down. He understood the boy's fear. "Somewhere safe. You have a check for $1 million in your pocket. You shouldn't be on the street tonight." Leo's fingers touched his coat pocket, feeling the paper inside. He thought about Mia. He thought about cold nights sleeping behind the library. This man had been cruel, but he had also apologized and given him real money. Leo had learned to judge people by their actions, not their words. So far, Alex's actions were confusing, but not all bad. Slowly, Leo stood up. His legs were stiff from sitting on the cold ground. "Good," Alex said. He turned to his friends, Mark and David, who were still standing there, watching everything. "The stakes are off. I have something else to do." He did not wait for their reply. He started walking toward the parking garage next to his office building. He looked back to see if Leo was following. The boy was, staying a few steps behind. They walked in silence to a sleek black car. Alex opened the passenger door. Leo hesitated, looking at the clean, cream-colored leather inside. "It's okay," Alex said. "Get in." Leo climbed in, trying to make his dirty coat and shoes small. Alex shut the door and got in the driver's side. The car was very quiet and very warm. "Where do we go?" Leo asked, looking out the window as the car pulled out into the busy Boston traffic. "First, an apartment I own. It's empty. You can stay there," Alex said. He drove carefully. "Then we talk about your sister." Leo's head snapped around. "Mia? Yes, you said you lost her. Tell me what happened." Leo was silent for a long time. He watched the tall buildings pass by. "There was a car accident," he said finally, his voice flat. 3 years ago, my mom and dad died. Me and Mia, we went to different places. I ran away to find her, but I don't know where she is." He said it like he was reciting a sad story he had told many times in his head. Alex felt that tightness in his chest again. "What's her full name? How old is she?" "Mia Benson. She was 8, so now she's 11. "And your last name is Benson too?" "Yes, Leo Benson." Alex pulled the car up to a tall, nice building with a glass front. He parked. "Come on," he said. They took an elevator up to the 15th floor. Alex opened a door to an apartment. It was all white walls and clean floors. There was furniture, but no pictures, no clothes. It did not look like anyone lived there. It was just a space. Leo stood in the doorway looking in. "It's yours for now," Alex said. He walked in and pointed. "Bathroom is there. There are towels. The kitchen has food. I will get you new clothes tomorrow." Leo walked slowly inside. He went to the big window and looked out at the city lights far below. He had not been this high up since his old life. "I'm going to call my lawyers," Alex said, taking his phone from his pocket. "They are very good at finding things in people. I will tell them to find Mia Benson. They will start looking tonight." Leo turned from the window. His eyes were huge. "You can do that?" "I can pay people to do that. It's what the money is for," Alex said. He was already dialing a number. He walked into the bedroom to talk. Leo stood alone in the quiet, warm living room. He took the check out of his pocket and unfolded it. He looked at the words, 1,000,100. He had thought the money was to hire a lawyer himself one day. He never dreamed someone would just do it for him. Alex came back out. "It started. They will call me when they know something." He looked at Leo. "You should take a shower. There is a robe in the bathroom. Put your clothes outside the door. I will have them cleaned." Leo just nodded. He went into the bathroom and closed the door. A few minutes later, the sound of water running could be heard. Alex stood in the quiet apartment. He did not know what to do with his hands. This was not a business deal. He had just promised a homeless child he would find his lost sister. He had given him an apartment. He had no plan. He was acting on a feeling, and it was terrifying. The water stopped. Later, the bathroom door opened a crack. A small hand came out and placed a pile of dirty clothes on the floor. The door closed again. Soon, Leo came out. He was swimming in a big white robe. His hair was wet and clean. He looked even younger. "Are you hungry?" Alex asked. Leo nodded. Alex went to the kitchen. He found soup in a can. He heated it up on the stove. He poured it into a bowl and put it on the table with a spoon and a glass of milk. It was a simple meal. Leo sat down. He picked up the spoon. He ate slowly at first, then faster. He ate all of the soup and drank all of the milk. He had not eaten a warm meal in a very long time. When he was done, he looked up. A very small, very quiet smile touched his lips. It was just for a second. Alex saw it. He felt a strange, warm feeling in his own chest. It was not the feeling he got from closing a big deal. This was different. This felt good in a way he had forgotten. "The bedroom is yours," Alex said, his voice softer. "Get some sleep. I will be in the living room if you need anything." Leo stood up and walked to the bedroom. He paused at the door. He looked back at Alex. "Thank you," he whispered. Then he closed the door. Alex Rhodes sat down on the expensive, stiff sofa. He listened to the silence of the apartment, broken only by the faint sounds of the city outside. He had just given away $1 million and an apartment. He had put his lawyers on a wild search. For the first time in 20 years, he had no idea what would happen next. And for the first time in just as long, that did not scare him. The next morning, Alex took Leo to a store and bought him new clothes, jeans, shirts, a warm jacket, and shoes that fit. Then they drove to the Rhodes International office building. People in the office stared as Alex walked in with the boy. Alex ignored them. He took Leo to a small, empty office with a desk and a computer. "This is where you will work," Alex said. "Your job is to read the foreign papers that come in. You tell me what they say. Simple." Leo nodded. He put his new backpack on the chair. "I have a meeting. Someone will bring you the first papers to look at," Alex said, and left. A few minutes later, a man walked in. He was older, with thin glasses and an unfriendly smile. He put a thick file on Leo's desk. "Mr. Rhodes says you're the translator," the man said. His tone was flat. "I'm Carl Gibbons. I handle the European contracts. These are in French and German. Summarize them by 3 o'clock. "Okay," Leo said quietly. Mr. Gibbons did not leave. He looked Leo up and down. "A lot of people worked hard for years to get a job here," he said. "Just so you know." He walked out, closing the door a little too hard. Leo opened the file. He started reading. The work was easy for him. The hard part was the office, the sounds, the bright lights, the people walking by and looking in at him. He traced the words on his knee under the desk as he read. He finished the summaries before noon. He found Mr. Gibbons at his desk in a bigger office. "I'm done," Leo said, holding out the papers. Mr. Gibbons looked surprised, then suspicious. He took them. "That was fast. Let me check your work." He read for a minute, his frown deepening. The summaries were perfect. "Fine," he muttered. "I'll have more for you later." The next day, Mr. Gibbons gave Leo another file. "This is the only copy of a very important contract. It's in Japanese and Spanish. Do not lose it. I need it back by the end of the day." "I won't lose it," Leo said. He worked carefully. He finished the translation notes and put them with the original file on the corner of his desk. He got up to get a drink of water from the cooler in the hallway. He was only gone for 2 minutes. When he came back, the file was gone. Leo's heart started beating fast. He looked all over his desk. He looked on the floor. He looked in his backpack. The file was not there. He went to Mr. Gibbons' office. The door was open. "Mr. Gibbons, the file you gave me, it's not on my desk." "Mr." Gibbons stood up. His face was angry. "What do you mean it's not on your desk? I told you not to lose it. That file is worth millions of dollars." "I just went to get water," Leo said, his voice trembling. "It was right here." "I don't believe this," Mr. Gibbons said loudly. Other people in the office looked over. "I warned Mr. Rhodes this was a mistake, bringing a street kid into a serious business." He pointed a finger at Leo. "You come with me, right now." Mr. Gibbons marched Leo to Alex's big office at the end of the hall. He knocked and went in without waiting. Alex was on the phone. He held up a hand to finish his call. "What's the problem, Carl?" Alex asked, hanging up. "The problem is your new prodigy," Mr. Gibbons said, sneering. I gave him a critical file this morning, the only copy. I told him not to lose it. He claims he left it on his desk for a moment and now it's gone. That's negligence, Alex. That's a fireable offense for anyone else. Alex looked at Leo. The boy's face was pale. He looked scared, but he also looked honest. Is this true, Leo? Alex asked. I translated it, Leo said. I put it on my desk. I went for water. When I came back, it was gone. He looked right at Alex. I didn't lose it. Alex heard the fear in Leo's voice, but he also heard truth. He remembered the boy's careful hands smoothing the papers on the sidewalk. He was not careless. He looked at Mr. Gibbons. The man's arms were crossed. He looked too satisfied. Carl, where were you about 10 minutes ago? Alex asked. At my desk, working, Mr. Gibbons said quickly. I saw him wandering around. Alex stood up. Let's go check your office. My office? Why? Mr. Gibbons's confidence wavered. Just come on. Alex, Leo, and Mr. Gibbons walked to Mr. Gibbons's office. Alex went straight to the large trash can by the desk. He picked it up and turned it over on the floor. Papers, a banana peel, and coffee grounds spilled out. And there, on top of the messy pile, was a clean blue file folder. Leo let out a small breath. Mr. Gibbons's face went white. Alex picked up the file. He opened it. The Japanese and Spanish contract was inside. He looked at Mr. Gibbons. His voice was cold and quiet. You set him up. You took the file from his desk and threw it in your own trash. He must have put it there, Mr. Gibbons stammered, to make me look bad. Leo didn't even know where your office was until today, Alex said. He looked at the man with disgust. You're fired, Carl. Clean out your desk. Security will escort you out. Mr. Gibbons opened his mouth to argue, but Alex pointed to the door. The man left, his shoulders slumped. Alex handed the file back to Leo. I'm sorry. I should have believed you first. Leo took the file, holding it tightly. You checked, he said. You didn't just believe him. A friend listens first, Alex said. It was a new idea, even for him. Go finish your work. Leo nodded and walked back to his small office. For the first time since he arrived, he did not feel like an outsider looking in. He felt like someone had his back. Leo worked quietly in his small office for the next few days. No one gave him any more trouble after Mr. Gibbons was fired. People just brought him papers, and he translated them. But his mind kept going back to the first stack of papers, the ones from the sidewalk. He had read them so fast that day, just to prove he could. Now he wondered what they really said. During his lunch break, he went to Alex's office. Alex was typing on his computer. Can I ask for something? Leo said from the doorway. Alex looked up. Of course. What is it? The papers. The ones from the first day. Can I see them again? I want to read them more slowly. Alex leaned back in his chair. He seemed surprised. Sure, they're right here. He opened a drawer in his big desk and pulled out the familiar stack. He handed it to Leo. Is something wrong? I don't know, Leo said honestly. I just want to be sure I understood everything. He took the papers back to his desk. He started from the beginning. The French shipping contract was simple. The German one was next. He read it slowly, his finger tracing the words on his leg under the desk. It was about a factory, a new factory his company wanted to build in a place called Mason Falls. He read a paragraph. Then he read it again. His stomach felt funny. He picked up the next page, the Japanese one. It had more details, numbers, specifications. He read the Spanish and Portuguese pages after that. They all connected. They all said the same thing in different ways. Leo sat very still for a long time. He looked out the window at the gray Boston sky. He thought about his dad a long time ago, pointing to a map. Languages are tools, Leo, he had said. They let you hear what people are really planning. He knew what he had to do. He was scared, but he knew. He gathered the papers and walked back to Alex's office. Alex was on the phone again, but he saw Leo's face and quickly ended the call. What's wrong? Alex asked. Leo put the papers on the desk. He opened them to the third page, the German one. He pointed to a specific section. This page, Leo said, his voice quiet but clear. The German one. It says the factory will need a lot of water. It says the water will come from the Merrimack River. The rights to use the water are in another document. Okay, Alex said, nodding. That's standard for a manufacturing plant. Leo turned to the Japanese document. He pointed to another section. This one talks about the water volume. It says the factory will use up to 3 million gallons of water every single day. He looked at Alex. How much water does the town of Mason Falls use? Alex blinked. I don't know off the top of my head. My dad always said knowing a language means knowing what people are really saying, Leo said. He tapped the Portuguese document. This one is the water rights agreement. It says Roads International gets all the water it needs from the river, but it doesn't say what's left for the town. If you take 3 million gallons a day, what is left for them? Alex's face changed. He slowly reached for the papers. He read the sections Leo pointed to. His eyes moved fast. He saw the numbers. He saw the legal language. He had skimmed these documents weeks ago, thinking about profit margins and construction timelines. He had not thought about a town's water. He put the papers down. His hand went to his cufflink. He twisted it. The town is small, Alex said, more to himself than to Leo. Their water supply is the river. If we take that much, they'd have almost nothing. They might have to buy trucked-in water. They are poor, Leo said. He remembered the word from the community profile in the Spanish documents. The document says the average income is very low. They cannot afford to buy water. Alex stood up. He walked to the window. He was silent for a full minute. Leo waited. This deal, Alex said finally, his back to Leo. It will make the company a lot of money. Tens of millions of dollars. Leo didn't say anything. He just waited. Alex turned around. His face was troubled. Why did you tell me this? You have $1 million because of me. You could have just stayed quiet. Leo looked down at his shoes, the new ones Alex had bought him. Because it's wrong, he said simply. And you asked me to translate. A real translation tells you everything, even the bad parts. Alex did not answer right away. He just looked at Leo. The boy's words, "It's wrong," echoed in the quiet office. They were so simple, so clear. For years, Alex's only measure for a deal was whether it made money. Now a 12-year-old boy who owned nothing just weeks ago was giving him a new measure. "Stay here," Alex said quietly. He picked up the papers. He walked out of his office and down the hall to the conference room. Inside, 5 other important people from the company were meeting. They were the board. They looked up when Alex entered. "We need to talk about the Mason Falls project," Alex said. He dropped the stack of papers in the middle of the big table. "Perfect timing," said a woman named Susan Choi. "We were just discussing the final approvals. Construction can start in 2 months." "No, it can't," Alex said. He remained standing. "We have to change the water plan. The current plan takes too much from the river. It will hurt the town." A man named Robert Greeley laughed. "Alex, come on. The town signed the water rights agreement. They knew what they were getting." "Did they?" Alex asked. His voice was tight. "Do you think they understood that 3 million gallons a day means their taps might run dry? That they'll have to choose between washing clothes and drinking water?" "That's not our problem," Susan said, her smile gone. "Our problem is delivering value to our shareholders. This factory delivers a lot of value." Alex put both hands on the table. He thought about his own childhood. He thought about his parents worrying about the water bill, about heating bills. The memory was a raw, fresh ache. It is our problem when we're the ones causing it. We can build the factory with a different water system, a recycling system. It will cost more. It will cut into the profits. Robert Greeley stood up, his face red. "Cut into the profits? Alex, this is a business, not a charity. You want to spend millions extra because you're feeling guilty about some street kid?" The words hung in the air. Alex straightened up. He looked at each of their faces. He saw only cold calculation. He used to see the same thing in his own mirror. "Yes," Alex said, his voice clear and final. "That's exactly what I want to do, and I'm the majority owner. The Mason Falls project is on hold until we redesign it with a closed-loop water system. No water from the town's river." "You're throwing away money," Susan shouted. "I'm choosing a different kind of value," Alex replied. He turned and walked out of the room. He did not slam the door. The quiet click of it closing was louder than any shout. He went back to his office. Leo was still there, sitting in a chair, waiting. "It's done," Alex said. He sank into his own chair, feeling tired. "The deal is stopped, at least the way it was." Leo nodded slowly. "Thank you." "Don't thank me yet," Alex said. He rubbed his eyes. Now I have to figure out how to pay for the new water system. He looked at Leo. A thought was forming. The check I gave you, the $1 million, have you cashed it? Leo shook his head. No, it's in the drawer at the apartment. Alex leaned forward. What if we used it? Not for the factory, for something else, something good. What? Leo asked. What happened to you? It shouldn't happen, Alex said. The idea was becoming clearer as he spoke. A kid as smart as you ending up with nothing. What if we use that money to start a place for kids like you? A school, a safe place where smart kids who have no home can go. They can eat, sleep, and learn. We could call it the Rhodes Foundation School. Leo's eyes grew wide. He thought about cold nights. He thought about being hungry and trying to read under a streetlight. A place like that would have changed everything. My sister, Leo whispered. If we had a place like that, maybe she could have been there. Maybe I wouldn't have lost her. We're still looking for her, Alex said firmly. The lawyers are working. But in the meantime, we can build this. We can use that money to stop the bad thing and start a good thing. What do you think? Leo looked at the man. He saw the stress on his face from the fight with the board. He saw the determination in his eyes. This was not the same man who threw papers on the sidewalk. That man was gone. I think it's a good idea, Leo said. A small, real smile touched his lips. A really good idea. The phone rang 3 days later. Alex answered it in his office. Leo was sitting across from him, looking at plans for the school. Alex Rhodes, Alex said. He listened. His eyes went wide. He looked straight at Leo. You're sure? Positive? Okay, text me the address. We're coming today. He hung up the phone. Leo's whole body was tense. He was barely breathing. They found her, Alex said, a huge smile breaking across his face. They found Mia. She's in a foster home, in Chicago. Leo shot up from his chair. Chicago? Is she okay? The lawyer says she's healthy. She's safe. She's waiting for us. Alex was already grabbing his coat. We're going, right now. Go get your things. They drove to the airport in silence. Leo stared out the window, his fingers tracing invisible words on his leg over and over. Alex bought 2 plane tickets at the counter. They got on the big plane. Leo had never flown before. He watched the city get smaller below them. What if she doesn't remember me? Leo asked quietly as the plane flew. It's been 3 years. She's your sister, Alex said. She'll remember you. The flight took 2 hours. They landed in Chicago. Alex rented a car. He typed the address from the lawyer into his phone. They drove to a part of the city with small, neat houses. They stopped in front of a yellow house with a blue door. Leo felt like he might be sick. He couldn't move. Come on, Alex said gently. I'm right here with you. They walked to the front door. Alex knocked. A kind-looking woman in her 40s answered. She had a warm smile. You must be Mr. Rhodes, she said. And you must be Leo. I'm Carol, the foster mom. We've been expecting you. Mia is in the living room. She's a little nervous. They stepped inside. The house smelled like cookies. It was clean and tidy. Carol led them to a small living room. A girl was sitting on the sofa. She was wearing a green dress. Her hair was long and brown, tied in a ponytail. She was looking down at a book in her lap. Mia, Carol said softly. Your visitors are here. The girl looked up. Leo stopped breathing. It was her. Her face was older. She was taller. But her eyes were the same. They were the same warm brown as his own. Mia stared at him. Her eyes got very big. Her mouth opened in a little O of surprise. The book slid from her lap onto the floor. Leo? She whispered. It was the first time he had heard her voice in 3 years. He nodded, tears already blurring his vision. Yeah, Mia, it's me. Mia scrambled off the sofa. She did not walk. She ran. She threw her arms around her brother's neck and held on so tight he could barely breathe. He wrapped his arms around her, burying his face in her hair. They both started to cry. Big, heavy sobs shook their small bodies. I looked for you, Leo cried, his words muffled. I looked everywhere. I waited, Mia sobbed back. I always waited for you to come. They held each other for a long time. They cried until they had no more tears. Alex stood by the door, watching them. He felt a happy pain in his heart. He was so glad for them. But seeing them together also made him feel how alone he was. He had no one to hold like that. Finally, Leo pulled back. He held Mia's face in his hands, looking at her. "I'm never losing you again. Never. You're coming with me. We have a home now, with Alex." Mia looked over at the man by the door. She looked unsure. "He's a friend," Leo said firmly. "He helped me find you." Alex stepped forward. He knelt down so he was not so tall. "Hi, Mia. My name is Alex. Your brother is very smart and very brave. We have a safe apartment in Boston. There's a room for you. You can both live there, if that's okay with you." Mia looked from Alex to Leo. She saw the hope in her brother's eyes. She nodded slowly. "Okay," she said, her voice still thick with tears. She reached out and took Leo's hand, holding it tightly. Carol, the foster mom, had tears in her own eyes. "I'll start packing her things," she said. Leo did not let go of Mia's hand, not while her small suitcase was packed, not in the car to the airport, not on the plane back to Boston. He held on, as if letting go for even a second would make her disappear again. For the first time in 3 years, the cold, empty space inside him was gone. It was filled by the warm, solid grip of his sister's hand. The apartment in Boston was quiet when they first walked in. Mia held Leo's hand, looking around at the clean walls and big windows. "This is for us," she asked softly. "All for us," Leo said. He showed her the room that would be hers. It had a bed with a blue blanket and a desk. Mia put her small suitcase on the floor and just stared. That night, they ate dinner together at the kitchen table, Alex, Leo, and Mia. It was spaghetti. No one talked much, but it was a comfortable quiet. Alex watched the two siblings. He saw how Mia looked at Leo for everything, and how Leo made sure she had enough to eat. It was a family. The next morning, Alex brought a stack of papers to the breakfast table. "The school," he said. "We need to make it real." Leo and Mia looked at the papers. There were drawings of a building, lists of supplies, and many legal forms. "What should it have?" Alex asked them. "You two know better than anyone." Leo thought for a moment. "A library," he said, "with books in many languages and quiet places to read." Mia spoke up, her voice shy. "A kitchen that's always open, so if you're hungry at night, you can get food." Alex wrote these things down. "What else?" "Teachers who want to be there," Leo added. "Not teachers who are just doing a job." For the next several weeks, this was their work. Alex used his money and his lawyers, but he did not just tell them what to do. He asked Leo and Mia questions every day. They looked at buildings for sale. They chose one, an old brick schoolhouse that needed repair. They hired builders and painters. One afternoon, they were standing in the dusty main room of the old schoolhouse. A worker asked Alex where to put the electrical outlets. Alex turned to Leo. "Where would kids want to plug in a laptop to read?" Leo pointed to a corner with windows. "Over there. The light is good for reading." "Put them there," Alex told the worker. The sign outside was put up. It said, *, the Rhodes Foundation School, *. Alex looked at it for a long time. His name was on it, but it did not feel like his other buildings. This one felt different. Leo and Mia helped unpack boxes of books. They made labels for the library shelves. They tested the beds in the dormitory rooms to make sure they were soft. The day before the school opened, Alex, Leo, and Mia were there alone. The building was clean and bright. The kitchen was full of food. The library smelled like new books. "It's ready," Mia said, her voice full of wonder. "It is," Alex said. He felt a feeling he could not name. It was better than closing a big deal. It was calm and solid. The next morning, the first children arrived. There were 10 of them. They came with social workers. They looked nervous and unsure, just like Leo had looked on the sidewalk. They had small bags with their things. A girl with red hair, who was maybe 9 years old, stood in the doorway and would not come in. Leo walked over to her. He did not stand too close. "The library has a book about horses," he said quietly. "I saw it yesterday. Do you want to see it?" The girl looked at him. She nodded slowly. Leo led her inside. Alex watched from the office window. He saw Leo show the girl the library. He saw Mia lead 2 boys to the kitchen for a snack. He saw the children's faces slowly relax. He was not the boss here. He was just a helper. He spent the day carrying boxes, answering phones, and showing a child how to use the new shower. His expensive suit was in his closet at home. He wore jeans and a t-shirt. At the end of the day, he was tired. A different kind of tired. His body ached, but his mind was quiet. He sat at a desk, finishing some paperwork. Leo and Mia found him there. "We're going to the apartment," Leo said. "Are you coming?" Alex looked up. "Soon. I'll finish this." Mia walked over to his desk. She looked at him for a second, then she did something she had never done before. She reached out and hugged him. It was a quick, tight hug around his shoulders. Then she let go and went to stand by her brother. "Thank you, Alex," she said. The two children walked out, talking about what to make for dinner. Alex sat at the desk in the quiet school. The hug felt like a warmth on his shoulders. He smiled. For the first time in a very, very long time, he did not feel lonely at all. A full year had passed. The Rhodes Foundation School was no longer new. Its halls were filled with the sounds of children talking, laughing, and learning. There were now 27 kids living there. They ate 3 meals a day in the big kitchen. They slept in warm beds. They went to classes in the bright classrooms. Leo and Mia were not just helpers anymore. They were students too. They went to a public school nearby. They came to the foundation school every afternoon. One Tuesday, Leo was in the library helping a new boy named Sam. Sam was 13 and had just arrived the week before. He was from Poland and spoke very little English. He looked frustrated, staring at a math book. "The words are hard," Sam said in a heavy accent. Leo sat next to him. He looked at the math problems. They were just algebra. He pointed to the first one. "This symbol means plus," Leo said slowly. Then he said the same word in Polish. "Asterisk plus asterisk." Sam's face lit up. "Asterisk tak, plus," he said. He understood. Leo helped him translate the rest of the problem. Soon, Sam was solving it on his own. He smiled at Leo. "Thank you." "No problem," Leo said. Across the room, Mia was reading a story to a group of younger kids. She used different voices for each character. The children laughed at the silly voices. Alex walked into the library. He was carrying a box of new books. His sleeves were rolled up. He no longer wore suits to the school. He saw Leo helping Sam and Mia reading. A calm smile settled on his face. This was his work now. Later that evening, Alex, Leo, and Mia walked to the small house they shared 2 blocks from the school. It was a blue house with a white fence. It was not a fancy apartment. It was a home. Mia was setting the table for dinner when the doorbell rang. Alex answered it. A woman stood there with a notepad. "Mr. Rhodes? I'm Sarah Ellis from the Asterisk Boston Globe Asterisk. We spoke on the phone about the feature on the school?" "Yes, of course. Come in," Alex said. He led her to the living room. Leo and Mia stayed in the kitchen, listening. "The school is quite a story," Sarah said. "But our readers are very interested in how it started. The story about you and Leo on the sidewalk is almost a legend now. Is it true?" Alex looked toward the kitchen. He could see Leo listening. "Every word is true," Alex said. "I did a cruel thing. Leo did an amazing thing. It showed me who I had become. The school, it's my way of trying to be better." "And you live here with them now?" Sarah asked gently. "They are my family," Alex said simply. There was no other way to say it. The reporter smiled and wrote in her notepad. She asked a few more questions about the school's funding and its plans. Then she left. At dinner, Mia asked, "Will we be in the newspaper?" "Probably," Alex said, passing her the mashed potatoes. "Is that okay?" Leo thought about it. He thought about the boy he was a year ago, hiding in a big coat. "It's okay," he said. "If it helps other kids find a place like this, it's good." The article came out on Sunday. There was a big picture of the school on the front page of the local section. The headline read, "From a sidewalk to a schoolhouse, a second chance for many." It told the whole story. It told about Alex's mean joke. It told about Leo reading 9 languages. It told about the $1 million, finding Mia, and stopping the bad factory deal. It ended with the school. People all over Boston read it. They talked about it at coffee shops and in offices. That night, Alex, Leo, and Mia sat together on the sofa. They were all reading different books. The house was quiet and warm. Leo put his book down. "My teacher asked me about the article today." "What did you say?" Alex asked. "I said it was a story about looking twice," Leo said. "You have to look twice at people. The first look might not show you everything." Mia leaned her head on her brother's shoulder. "My friend said she saw the picture of you in your old coat. She said she wouldn't have known you were smart. No one knew, Leo said. No one asked. Alex looked at the two of them, curled up together. He felt a fullness in his heart. He was not rich because of his money anymore. He was rich because of this quiet moment, in this blue house, with his family. The story of the rich man and the homeless boy was over. In its place was something better. The story of a man, a brother, and a sister who had all found their way home. They had learned that kindness is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength. And you must never ever judge a person by their clothes.